So it's been a lot of news about this Apple, Facebook, privacy, ads tracking, Instagram, Facebook stuff. And originally, it seemed like it was going to be a nail in a coffin of the likes of Facebook and Instagram, who relied on some level of knowing who you are in order to hit you with the ad that's going to be effective, that you're going to click on, etc. Mm-hmm. And then there was a follow-up where Zuckerberg was like, we'll figure it out. We'll get this sorted out. And I don't know how he thought he was going to get it sorted out, but in this recent iOS update, it's notifying you about everything. Any little apps trying to do anything, its notifications out of control. It's telling you, hey, do you want to allow this app to track you? And we covered it on this show, how the prompt is, in my opinion, it was a little bit more gentle than I had imagined it would be. Mm-hmm. Like, it could have been phrased in such a way where it said, this app is tracking your behavior and sharing your information with other applications. Would you like to stop it? Mm-hmm. In which case, everybody clicks yes. But it was a little bit more open-ended than that, where it said this may improve. It actually implied that it may change the ads that you see. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, that little detail, Apple didn't have to do that. And seeing that detail in there, maybe there's a life for the ad tracking business for the likes of Instagram and things like this. And for those who wanted just a quick recap, but essentially how these operate is through analyzing your behavior around the web and then transacting in your information, they're able to predict the things you might want to buy. And then when you're scrolling Instagram, obviously it's like, oh, hey, Willie Doo, here's a snowboard. Mm-hmm. Or here's a toy for the dog over there.
Yes.
By the way, it's a no bark show today. I talked to Otis before it.
Yeah.
I talked to Otis before the show. We came to an agreement.
You sat him down?
I did. I said, today's the day. It's a no bark show. And he gave me the, he kind of looked up at me, and I feel there was a connection.
Okay. Well,
so, just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. It's really quite an achievement. Anyway, so maybe it's a toy, it's a ball, one of those launchers, Chuck It launchers. You guys they would know you were using that.
Of course, yeah.
And then you would get another one. They're like, hey, you need another one of these.
Mm-hmm. Here's a 10-pack.
Yeah. But that Chuck It company's out of control.
Man, yeah.
Because they got so many different styles now.
Yeah, glow in the dark, choke free,
whistling. It's
different colors, materials.
I never would have thought you can make so many different. You feel like the dogs even care that much? No, they just chase whatever one you launch.
Sure, yeah.
But the launcher is good.
Yes.
Well, you can just get the stock one. It's fine. Even though as a dog owners, we like to think, oh, this next one they're going to have the most fun with that one.
The latest and greatest.
Yeah. It's But anyway, so Willie Doo gets these type of ads. And for the most part, to be clear, you don't mind. You're like, all right. But then on the other side of it, if you really dig into it and you look at the information that's being collected on you, then you start to feel uncomfortable. You're like, oh man, that much information? Like, if it gets too specific, then you're like, hey, easy.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden it's advertising. You got a dry spot on your front lawn.
Yeah.
And you never even looked it up or anything. And then the ad comes up. It's for like the fertilizer. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, Will, got a dry spot in your lawn? And you're like,
I look outside. I'm just like, oh.
You're looking around. You didn't even know there's a dry spot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so people get stressed out. They're like, man, I don't know. There's something that just feels off about it. But anyway, point being, Apple puts it in there. They give you this warning. And we have some data now coming back to us about how people are interacting with these warnings. And this is very interesting and showcases individuals' impression, relationship with being tracked, and now given the prompt, what their reaction is. And so I don't know what you would have thought this number would be, but the amount of people in the United States opt-in rate after iOS 14.5 launch, opt-in rate, that means it's okay, keep tracking me, 4%. 4%. 96% of that business in the US dried up. Because it's for the average person, hey, you want to be tracked all the time?
Yeah. Like what kind of question is that, you know?
Hey, do you enjoy being tracked all the time? Someone's like, yeah, that's me. Track me down. No, it's a limited. It's the language, it's the words, and it's not surprising.
And just given the options, either yes or no, it's there. It's just so easy.
But here's where this goes, Will. So okay, we understand. You give people the language, they make the call, and 96% make the choice. You have the likes of Facebook and Google and Instagram as a consequence of being part of Facebook and whatever other app that operates or has some sort of revenue structure in this way, that probably aren't just going to sit back and lose 96% of their business.
Right.
And are going to try to come up with ways. So Facebook has started to, here it is over here. Facebook has started to put like a prompt over there, trying to convince users that they must enable tracking if they want to help keep Facebook and Instagram free of charge. Ooh. Shots fired. Imagine that notification now.
That doesn't sound too good for Facebook, to be honest.
Not at all. You want
to charge your users?
Hey.
Users that don't trust you?
Hey, you want to keep using this right here? You want to keep this free of charge? You want to get that tracking going real quick?
No, Mr. Facebook.
No, see, that's the thing, though. It's like, we don't mind using the apps for free.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't ever really want to be face to face with the reality of what that means, because ain't nothing free ever.
Yeah.
Remember that. Nothing. You give something to get something. And if you can't see what you're giving,
you're the product?
there you go.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I've been in that mindset for a long time, since early Gmail days, seeing the ads show up in my Gmail. It's like always reflecting on the fact that these services exist in a model that requires advertising. I mean, it was the same thing when I started on YouTube, and then I got on the other side of it, and I was like, okay, now YouTube advertising, pre-roll, but that's tapping into what they know about you too, to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent. That is...
I saw a hand gesture there. You're getting serious right now. Go ahead. What's the extent, Will?
No, it's a gray area. But, I mean, you don't want to be tracked like 100%. There is like a certain like level to it.
You're more of a 30% track type of guy.
Sure, why not? 30 to 35%, I'm okay with it. Yeah.
You track me 35% of the time. On the other 65, I won't be on my own.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so they originally claimed this is going to be a manageable situation. Now they're hitting users with that prompt. Now I'm going to go even further here, Will, and say, look, if you're already hitting users with that type of prompt, which is definitely a nasty one to get, like, hey, you want to keep using this for free? You better turn that on. It makes you seem desperate to a certain extent.
Sure.
But the key thing here is it means that they're feeling it, and it means that this could have an impact on your online experiences. Mm-hmm. And here's where I'm going with this. You could be at the forefront of a real technological battle. Now, stick with me for a second. Completely speculative right now. But Facebook is not a small company. Google is not a small company. Amazon's not a small company. All these companies outside of Apple have business models that transact in user information, user data. When you start to think about your iPhone, and I'm just putting this out there, but you try to think of your iPhone without all of those things. You start to think about your iPhone. If all the data types get together and say, look, this is having a drastic impact on our business, or we don't want to bend over as far as Apple's concerned. You know what I'm saying?
So Apple needs to play ball.
No, I'm just saying when we're talking about leverage and negotiations. Now, yesterday on the show, we talked about Netflix, how they had a separate negotiation when it came to App Store and subscriptions through the App Store. And then Epic was pointing out, why did Netflix get special treatment? Well, obviously, at that point, leverage was in there on their side. At that point in time, Apple said, you know what, we got to have Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? But you keep increasingly hearing these things, and it's always Apple involved with it. Because Apple is kind of exclusive as far as the mega brands and their position on data.
Yeah.
And privacy. But what you do on your iPhone outside of having it is very un-Apple. You go to these sites, you go to these apps. So just when I positioned it yesterday, I said, okay, let's say Netflix left. And I'm not saying they're going to do this. And I'm not saying this is easy. And I'm not saying I recommend it. But I'm just doing a little thought experiment. If Netflix leaves iOS, do you leave iOS? And a lot of people say, hell no, I can watch other stuff. If Facebook and Instagram leave iOS and Netflix leaves iOS, do you leave iOS? Okay, let's continue the thought experiment. If Google, Facebook, Instagram, Netflix leave iOS, do you leave iOS? If Amazon, Google, Instagram, Facebook, Epic Games, blah, 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 decide, you know what? We don't got to be like this. We're gonna make our product like what is does Apple get into the social media business? Because they already got into the content business. They already said, hey, we'll give you something to watch. We'll prepare ourselves for a potential clash with the other content producers that are out there. But some of those other ones that we mentioned are now they will make compromises because the user base is just so enormous.
Sure.
And if you're Amazon, for example, you have other ways of making money. And if you're Google, you have other ways of making money. Facebook is obviously the biggest target here. So I'm not saying this is going to happen. But every time that these exclusive positions are taken and they're at the expense of these other giants, there's distance that's created and the potential for friction that's created.
Yes.
That, okay, we're Apple and we're over here and all y'all are over there. And all y'all are guilty and we're clean. You got a problem. You got a problem shouting out across when everybody else is guilty but you. When you're picture perfect and they're all terrible. They say, okay, keep calling us terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, completely speculative.
That's a good point, though.
I'm just goofing around. I'm just thinking out loud. Like I said, it's important to know it's not that easy. This user base is enormous and they got money. We're talking about 1 billion iPhones out there. We're talking about tremendous revenue through the App Store. None of these brands are seriously considering what I just said. But I'm talking like 10, 20, 30, 50 years. Talking long-term planning, zoom out type stuff. Like where does the whole thing end up?
Yeah.
And just a thought experiment. Relax.
I mean, even for this, Facebook's revenue model has to change too, right? Their whole business model.
Well, they're basically saying it. I mean, it's a threat right now, but they're basically saying if you want to keep using Facebook and Instagram free of charge, and then keep in mind these companies, as if they do truly become more desperate, can go and acquire other companies that run services that you like to use.
Dude, what about Uber? Like Uber Eats and like the food delivery.
Yeah, your phone is your apps.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just thought of that because what Uber Eats like is really uses tracked data quite a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's a little bit intrusive in that way. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Apple owns the customer because they own the phone. So the leverage is not equivalent because they could just as easily make the case that, hey, because of the iPhone, because of the App Store, people are ordering food. Like this is what they're doing with Epic right now. They're saying because of iOS and because of the iPhone, Fortnite blew up.
Right.
So it all depends on your perspective on the thing. But I'm just looking at dollars and cents, and I know Apple's an enormous company. But when you pile all those other ones together, if for whatever reason they were able to organize themselves, that's a lot of money too.
Yes.
I'm looking at it like geopolitical status, like alliances and things. And not to say that any of these big companies could really come together like that. But actually, I have a story coming up, which is an example of such a thing. And that's coming up next, which is that Amazon has partnered with Tile. So it ain't so crazy. What I'm saying is not so crazy. That they're doing battle out there and they're trying to make these alliances and they're trying to target one another. I mean, it obviously happens through acquisitions, through partnerships and arrangements.
This is just a partnership, right? Amazon didn't buy Tile.
Amazon did not buy Tile. What they did is they granted Tile access to their mesh network for tracking items, which plugs into all the Amazon Echo products that are out there. Whatever their smart home stuff that's out there, because one of Tile's main disadvantages against AirTags is the fact that you got a billion iPhones out there on the Find My stuff. And Tile is like a startup, which, well, they're 8 years old, but they're not tapped in that way. Their network is only other Tile devices. AirTags network is bigger than even AirTags by default, just right out the gate because of Find My iPhone.
Wow, this is a quick partnership.
I was talking about it 2 episodes ago.
Yeah,
I said the words Amazon. I said Tile needs to partner with Amazon.
AirTags came out like a week or 2 ago.
Well, but it's in development.
Sure,
they knew it was in development, so the conversations were ongoing. It's not like, but you're right. It is as far as putting out the release and making the deal.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what I thought. What do you do if you're Tile? You look for a partner that's bigger than you, who can. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work. There's very few footprints like Apple's footprints, and you just can't, like when we talk about a billion devices, there's a billion what out there?
Yeah.
As far as smart devices outside of iPhones, a billion what? I guess Android devices would be the other one. They could have partnered with Google, but a lot of speculation already exists that Google will just do their own tracking device. Anyway, Amazon partnered with Tile and a smart lock maker, Level, to beef up its mesh network for tracking items. The move will help Tile better compete with Apple, which has over 1 billion devices on its network for tracking items with new AirTag. So it is some type of free market warfare going on where it's like you gotta. When the news came out and they first went there and said we want a even playing field, we want Apple to play fair. It's like you can't do anything. You can't do anything. Apple's gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna deliver for their customers. That's their only responsibility. So what do you have to do then? Well, you gotta do this. You team up and you try to improve your product through either getting acquired or creating a partnership, as they have done over here. So how this will work is it will enhance the tracking network for Tiles based on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And the strength of the number of devices on a given network is key to the accuracy of that network, which is, again, a huge advantage right now for AirTags. So having more devices online that it can ping off gives you a much higher likelihood of precision finding for the device. Amazon's partnership will also let it beef up its own tracking network by bringing all these Tile devices online. They call that network Sidewalk. So they'll let Tile devices tap into those Bluetooth networks created by those Echo products. This is going to start working on June 14th. So you're right, Will. They're getting it going fast. June 14th. And now you can see, you're on the website right now, and you see works with Alexa, and you see how they're doing the add-on on the product purchase page, leveraging their advantage, which is shopping. It's crazy stuff, man. It's all happening.
And then Tile gets pushed up into the Find feature.
Absolutely. Tile can get preferential treatment on the website. It's unbelievable stuff, man. It's really complex and really interesting.
Yeah.
Google, on the other hand, they got their own separate beef going on with Roku, which we talked about. and they pulled a 4D chess move, as the kids say, or whatever.
Do they?
I don't know. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the kids don't say it.
Yeah.
Maybe we say it. Maybe the old men say it.
We should start saying it.
Well, I'm an old man and I just said it, so therefore I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess the old man says it.
Yeah.
They were having trouble with the YouTube TV app. Okay?
Yeah.
Roku was like, YouTube was like, here's the rules and restrictions we want as far as that. And Roku was like, that's not how the other apps on our platform work. It should be the same as everything else. There was a disagreement over universal search and some other factors. And the YouTube TV, not the YouTube app, the YouTube TV app, which is a subscription to like traditional TV content, but through YouTube, was actually pulled out of the available apps on Roku. If you had it already installed, you could keep it and keep using it. But if you didn't have it yet, you weren't going to be able to download it until they were able to resolve whatever disagreements they had. This did not affect the YouTube specific agreement, which was the same. Roku had the same deal as all other device manufacturers that want to have a YouTube app, every smart TV, everything like that.
So before, Roku had the YouTube app and the YouTube TV app.
Bingo.
Right.
And so they're disputing over the YouTube TV app and they're renegotiating. And they're saying, we got some leverage. You got some leverage. Let's do what we do. Let's have a little dance. And then Google did the unthinkable.
What'd they do? Something cheeky?
They just went back in there and they said, okay, we'll just put the YouTube TV app inside of the YouTube app.
Yeah.
They said, okay, because
4D.
our YouTube app agreement is still in place and it's suitable for us. And so we're going to take our YouTube TV customers and just have them, they'll have an extra click. They'll just go to the YouTube app and then they'll go to YouTube TV app. Not only that, they went out and said that they are also securing free streaming devices for customers in case talks with Roku completely fall apart.
That's what they should write when they give off these free devices.
You see what I'm saying about scale here, Will? You see what I'm saying about scale? Is you got Roku, a player over here, and they say, hey, man, anti-competition, big bad Google. And Google goes, yeah, you're right. Big bad Google. They say, you see that room over there? You see that building over there? Yeah, we got some resources. And your fun little gadget that you sell, you know, that little thing, we make money so many different ways sideways that we're going to give that part away. We'll just give them some of those streaming devices.
Yeah.
Because we make money other ways because of who we are. Like this is, oh man, if I'm Roku, I'm in the corner now because I'm sitting there saying, oh dear God, who did I wake up right now? What did I get myself involved in? Now they're going to go the route of saying, here, I'll give you the quote, is the same kind of as before. They're saying something. They're saying something. They're calling Google and their latest move, they're calling Google an unchecked monopolist, criticizing Google's decision to bundle the services together as an example of its predatory business practices. So you know where you end up here. You know where you end up here. When you start seeing those terms, where do you end up?
Just court.
You just end up in a courtroom. You end up with the fancy outfits. You end up with the expensive suits and 50,000 lawyers.
Sure, yeah.
And you end up in front of a judge and you're trying to make your case. And this is the Apple Epic thing going on right now. And you gotta go up against the kind of lawyers are these guys buying? You got to go up against the top dogs, man.
Yeah.
And even in the case that these companies do have money, Epic does have money, but do you have that kind of money?
Apple money.
Are you ready to go at this one for a while? Because these things can get dragged out. You want to go for a while on it? Mm-hmm. And so it's a tough spot to find yourself in.
Yeah.
But that's where it's at right now. So, wow, the whole front end of this show, we went through the tech wars.
Yeah.
The age of the tech wars. Google versus Roku, Apple versus everyone, and Amazon versus Apple, and Tile versus Apple. Interesting stuff. Now, Netflix, they fit in to a certain extent, and they are reportedly testing a new service called N+. You know everybody's got to have a plus, right?
Yes.
You can't not have a plus. We're about to launch Lou Later Plus.
Yeah.
You didn't know that. I just let you know right now.
Okay.
It's all kinds of special. You can't just shake your head and have me shut up. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I got to at least pretend here for a second. What would happen on Lou Later Plus? Behind the scenes.
We don't do that.
Yes, behind the scenes.
What?
You get
First I've ever heard of it.
exclusive watch parties and Q&As. I mean, you know how these things go, Will.
Yeah.
It's all the extra stuff. That's what they do. That's
Sure,
what
yeah.
plus means.
Yeah.
We could, it's pizza parties. We have pizza parties with the
What do you mean?
with the Lou Later Plus subscribers.
Oh,
We sit around and eat pizza.
sure. Okay. Yeah.
You
Down
wouldn't,
with pizza.
you wouldn't pay for that?
I would.
I'll pay for the pizza. Don't worry. Here's what they say it could include: N+, playlists, behind the scenes production info, and podcasts. Because we need another place to go for podcasts. Listen to this, okay? Netflix, and this is completely early stages right here, so it may never come to reality, but they are surveying their customers about the potential for this new service. It will be an online space where you can learn more about Netflix shows and things related to them. So maybe the fandom around it too. You can imagine like when a show ends and people want to know everything about the next production, the next season.
Yeah.
What's going on? And so you go to the N+ community and you get to chat, about your enthusiasm around a particular show. You must have felt that way about a show at one time in your life. I mean, you used to have these parties, real life parties with the Game of Thrones. You were getting together with other people.
I have. Yes. They were great. They were fun. And
Can you explain one of these parties to me?
well, there's popcorn involved.
Okay.
A couple of friends.
Go on.
Dim lights.
Easy.
And one giant TV.
Well, that's important. I mean, for a watch party, you need that part.
What we would
Wait, one second. My bad. I just need to know this one detail.
Sure.
Is talking allowed during the actual show?
Absolutely not. No, you get kicked out.
And it's well established.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like a
Except
sport.
for like I guess commercials, obviously.
No, you were watching Game of Thrones, no commercials.
Was there?
No. What
I don't remember.
do you mean? It's HBO.
I guess not, right?
God, no.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
But like sporting events, on the other hand, there's chatter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and just saying, because normally you get together to watch sporting events, it's a bit, well, for myself, I never did a watch party for a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But you know what it is, though? We have a preamble before and after.
talk,
Then, yeah, when the show starts, everyone is zipped.
talk before
Yeah.
about what's going to happen, what happened on the previous episode, what might happen this episode.
Yeah.
You talk after about what just happened, what's going to happen in the next episode.
Of course.
When you get together again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, there's usually like a preview after the show ends or the episode. And then that gets talked about.
Yeah.
And that would be exclusive content, I guess, if you just keep tuning in.
It's an unbelievable life you lead. You know that?
Well, I think this is a great idea for Netflix.
Okay.
Right? Because they have a lot of originals. And they can have like behind the scenes interviews with the actors and actresses. Kind of cool.
How about this to go a step further?
Uh,
N Plus could even be a way for audiences to learn about a planned show pre-production and influence its development with feedback before filming has started.
ooh. You want to do that?
What do you mean? Everybody was mad about the way Game of Thrones ended. Everyone was screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
And
I guess so.
And I don't know, because if I'm a filmmaker or if I'm a showmaker. I don't want to hear all this chatter.
Yeah.
Do this,
I guess
do
there's-
that.
At one point, if you're like the creator of the show, director or whatever, someone who's involved, it's like you don't want too many hands into the project.
What if it was like this, though? You're an M Plus member, and then it's like, we're filming the next season of the show, and we're considering two different geographies for where to shoot it. And it's only two options, and it's a vote for the best members. That's kind of cool. You feel like you influenced something, but creatively, whoever was making it was happy with either of those options.
Yeah, I guess big decisions would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Little micro decisions.
No. Get out of here with all that.
A little too much.
Anyway, this is just a survey at the moment. Whether or not it actually happens remains to be seen, but it's an interesting thing to think about, being involved in your content in that type of way. And plus, Elon Musk is about to host SNL tomorrow night, right? Is a Saturday night thing, right? I'm joking. Saturday Night
it was
Live.
Probably filmed before.
Oh, it's probably
Or is
from.
it actually live?
Well, it's in the title. I don't know. I mean, he said his tweet, which he was taking heat from somebody on the show. He's like, let's find out how live so Saturday night really is. But anyway, he's been not auditioning, rehearsing.
Yeah.
Already, and so the reporters are following him around and talking to him, and he did a little preview with Miley Cyrus earlier today. But one of the things that came out of one of the questions from the media that was waiting for him to leave, I guess wherever he's staying, they asked him about Dogecoin, obviously, because there's all this speculation that Dogecoin is about to explode once he goes on the show. Like he's going to wear Doge on a t-shirt or something, and it's going to be the real deal. What is it? Hovering close to 70 cents right now.
It just went up like 5 cents when we started.
Yeah. Well, you can see it's about almost 14% on the 24 hour.
Yeah. Well, they're hoping for like $1
after Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, you knew the questioning had to be about it. And his reply was actually a bit subdued, which I think is responsible. But some people may have hoped for a little more cheerleading. Anyway, he was asked, this guy, by the way, that was talking to him or asking questions was very persistent. So it seemed like he kind of wanted to avoid giving anyone any financial advice as far as crypto is concerned, but the guy was persistent, so he did respond. Question was, do you think Dogecoin could be the next currency for the world? And then he replied, well, there's currently a poll to say, what do you want? And the reporter says, I want it to go. I'm in. And then Musk says, okay, so then I think it should be the will of the people, you know? Anyway, then the reporter says, I think there's a problem with Doge. There's not a limited number of coins like Bitcoin. Don't you think that's a problem? To which Musk says, yes, people should not invest their life savings in cryptocurrency. To be clear, I think it's unwise.
I thought you were going to do the laugh there.
The Elon laugh? Anyway, then he goes on to say, but if you want to sort of, speculate and kind of like, I don't know, maybe have some fun, there's a good chance that crypto in the future is the future currency of Earth. And then it's like, well, which one is it going to be? And maybe it'll be multiple. But it should be considered speculation at this point. Don't go too far on the crypto speculation part. The point is, Dogecoin was invented as a joke, essentially a fun cryptocurrency. And that's why I think there's like an argument, like fate loves irony. The most entertaining outcome is, what would be the most ironic outcome? That's the currency, that the currency invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency. And then he goes on to say, well, like I said, don't take too much risk on crypto. So I guess it's just the risky part, but he's just being responsible because a lot of people are listening to what he has to say. He has tremendous influence. And then if people do over invest as far relative to how much they have, their life savings, let's say, you don't want to be involved in something like that. So as excited as you might be personally in his case, or whoever it is that's into Doge, there is a responsibility factor about to the moon and like telling everybody you know to do it.
Sure, yeah.
As we've seen in the past with hype, anything hype, and I don't want mean to be a downer, but something goes up, something goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And just especially things that happen quickly.
Yes.
What's going on with GameStop right now? Just as a side note, I'm just curious. And in the amount of time we've been talking about Doge, it's up like another few cents.
Yeah.
GameStop is hanging in there.
It's got some spikes.
GameStop is actually hanging in there, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Kind of leveled out.
Pretty wild. But they're actually making changes and shifting strategy. There's some real intent over there. But anyway, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. You can obviously make some money. You can obviously lose some money. That's the moral of the story. And so he just put the disclaimer in there. I wouldn't make too much of it. If I had to guess, if you force me to go on the record right now, I say it goes up even more after the appearance. But what happens beyond that? And by the way, none of this.
Are you a financial advisor?
Did I just give it financial advice? No, I'm putting it out there with a billion disclaimers that, like everybody else, I have no idea. But this will be a very high profile opportunity for the currency if he does decide to go that route. He may steer clear of it. He may just decide,
yeah,
I don't want to. But
keep an eye out though for it. Just to see the fluctuation. I'm sure there's going to be.
Well, that's the other thing is that people may, if something doesn't happen that people want to happen with further rise, they may feel, okay, now's the time. This big event took place and it didn't go or stay, and so I'm about to bail. And then you can have people jumping off the train as well. Right. That's how the hype train works. So, I mean, we don't need to explain this. Anybody who's goofing with this stuff knows this. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. But just like Will says, like Elon says, take it easy out there. Don't put it all on. Never put it all on the line. No. Maybe not never.
Financial advisor over here.
Twitter has added a tip jar functionality. Did you experience this at all? Did you see this happen?
I didn't see it happen. I just read about it.
On your own Twitter account, you didn't get the prompt? Okay, so I got the prompt on the Twitter account to enable it.
Okay.
And, well, it's actually a little bit controversial. First of all, they talked about this a while back. They obviously are interested in capitalizing on the fact that many people now are paying other people for content that they want. Maybe not necessarily on Twitter, but on other platforms. And Twitter's sitting there saying, okay, we can take a piece of this and maybe our users want it or we'll use it.
What's the split?
70-30.
Oh. And is this something you have to enable as a creator?
Can we verify that? Let me verify the 70-30. Twitter tip. 70-30. I want to be sure about it. Twitter tip jar. I'm sure they would have to list that somewhere. I don't know where I heard. Oh, here we go. Will be gradually increased from, wait a second, from 30 to 50 over the next couple of weeks? Hang on a minute. Is that real? Important stuff right here. Twitter today confirmed earlier reports it's testing a new tip jar feature. Tip jar, easy way to support your favorite content creators. For now, those using Twitter in English will be able to send a tip, and the profiles that have it enabled will show the tip jar icon on their profile page. In addition to the above, Android users will be able to send money via Twitter's Clubhouse competitor Spaces. So you can tip while you're watching someone on a space, which is kind of an interesting implementation. But actually, why did this article say 30 to 50? We're going to have to look this up after the fact, or someone's going to have to put it in the comments, but I believe it was 70-30. But the point being here, you have a way of interacting with your favorite content creators. If you think their tweets happen to be worth it, you can send a tip. Now, one thing that stood out to me right away was the integration of the Cash App, because this is another project, Jack Dorsey project. So he's got Twitter and he's got Square and he's got Cash App, which is, I believe, part of Square. And that was just one of many options, but it was in there. So you had the Cash App as a method for potentially sending a tip. You had PayPal, which is the most controversial because of something we're going to showcase here in a second. You had Venmo. You had Bandcamp, which is kind of like Patreon for musicians and things. Like maybe you want to tip a musician you really like easily via Twitter. So there's a few different options in there. Now, PayPal, the problem with PayPal is by default, it was configured. Now on PayPal, you can either send money as a friend or you can send money for a service or a product. It was configured service or product. Now, normally when you're buying a product from somebody, you want to give them your address so they can ship that product to you. It's definitely not when you're sending a tip.
Right.
But because it was enabled in that fashion, people who started sending tips via PayPal realized that they were actually sending their entire address as well to these users they were tipping, which obviously is not a thing you would want. This individual, Rachel Toback, discovered it, sent a few tips, and then was like, whoa, that's my whole address right there.
Yeah.
She was doing it in order to determine if that was,
Right.
So she sent it to a trusted individual who could handle such information.
I'm guessing this is based off. So she paid $1, and then PayPal got 33 cents.
That's wild. Yeah.
So I'm guessing like
There's fees involved too.
it's like 60 or 66 and then 33. Like in terms of
Well, what's weird about
what
that
they
is it looks like, oh, you receive, but that's the PayPal statement. The fee, I would presume, is PayPal's got to get their piece too.
right. Is the fee the
I don't think
the
so.
payment?
I don't think so. I think Twitter's piece is coming off the 67.
Oh.
I don't know, man. Everybody, look at that. How many ways that things got to get split up?
Yeah. That's confusing.
It is a little confusing because it's
Crypto will solve all of this.
like, well, and some of these applications do have crypto options
Right.
for sending payments, but they still going to take their fees.
I guess so, yeah. There's still transaction fees.
Yeah, they're still going to take their fees because it's not going to be crypto to crypto. Anyway, I'll be interested to see how people actually put this to use. I'm sure there are applications where it makes sense. A lot of people think there ain't no tweet I'm ever going to pay for, but there's other things that happen on the platform, other types of content that can be shared, and there are some individuals that could create business models around this thing. I'm sure. I just don't know what it is yet, but it also raises certain ethical questions. I know reading through this article, some journalists were a little raising some concerns around manipulation that you would, I don't know, be able to easily bribe people or something like that.
Right.
But I guess you could do this stuff anyways. That's the other part of it. It's like, wait, so this is just a shortcut to a PayPal
Sure,
button.
yeah.
Like we can easily exchange money in all kinds of already convenient ways.
Yeah.
It just, I guess, took one click away from it and advertised the fact that you can send me money right on the page.
So is this something that you enabled?
You know
account?
what? I enabled it, but then what happened? I clicked on the PayPal thing. I'll tell you right now what happened. Here we go. Where was it? This is riveting stuff right here.
Technically, I can send you like.
Do you see it right now on my account? Do you see the tip jar? I feel like I enabled it, but I don't think I attached an actual payment medium. Once I got to the point of,
I don't see it. Is it supposed to be on your page here?
I think it is. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for it off the thing. But I think I got to the semi point of enabling such a thing, and then I bailed at the last second as I realized, well, let me edit my profile. Tip jar, there it is. It should be on Unbox Therapy. Allow people to directly send you tips. The tip jar will appear on your profile when you've entered at least one third-party service username. Okay, so I didn't connect a payment yet.
And it should be like what, here or something?
It is going to be around there. So there's Bandcamp, Cash App, Patreon, PayPal, and Venmo are the options. I have not attached any of those, so it's not showing up right now. But once I do, then you'll see the tip jar.
Yeah.
And
I guess we could figure out the fees by then.
we'll figure it out. You send me $1 and we'll see what happens, and we'll get to the bottom of it before the next episode. How about that?
Sure.
We're going to get to the bottom of this. But anyway, there you have it. Send each other a few pennies. Reebok is reviving a classic style, the OG pump. Look at that thing. You remember this sneaker, Will?
Yeah, vaguely. It's been so long.
The giant basketball pump
I
in
just
the
remember
tongue.
the big pump.
That's right. Well, this one was famous for being featured in the 1991 Slam Dunk contest. D. Brown, the player, was wearing it, and he did a dunk where he covered his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
D. Brown? I think so, yeah. But he may have had another dunk where he pumped the shoe before he dunked.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, there it is, a no-look dunk. Yeah, okay. Well, he did it a few times. This is not D. Brown. Oh, it is. You're right, that is. He relives the no-look dunk from 1991 dunk contest. Let's see, what sneakers he wearing? Oh, yeah, he's got the pumps on. Check it out.
yeah.
Anyway, Reebok has been having some issues trying to figure out what they're going to do because they used to be part of Adidas and then they became solo again and they're trying to revive the whole thing. And so they're going retro over here, as you can tell. And the pump is one of the more iconic Reebok moments. And it actually fills up the tongue with air. That's
Yes.
a real thing that happens with this particular sneaker.
Have you ever tried these?
I'm sure I owned pumps at one point, but like you, for some reason, it's erased from my memory.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it used to be a thing where kids would try to pop
Yeah.
the membrane inside the pump or something, if I
Or
recall.
just like over pump it
Over pump.
so you don't get any circulation in your.
Yeah. Anyway, so you got a leather and mesh material, TPU midfoot mold, and embroidered Hexalite logo, which is the cushioning that's inside the sneaker. They're going to be available at select retailers May 21st for $140 if you want to relive, go retro with it. Remember we were talking recently about pizza vending machines? And I was getting all fired up. I was like, cool, robots and pizza. My favorite things. Well, they put one of these pizza vending machines, not the one we talked about, but they put one of them in this spot in Italy, in Rome. Was it in Rome? Anyway, yeah, in Rome. And you can't be doing this in Rome. Well, I just got to be honest with you right now.
Is that offensive?
Well, you ever been to Rome before?
No, I haven't. I would love to.
You know what
check out
country Rome
Europe.
is in?
I believe it's in Italy.
You think Italy knows anything about pizza? Just anything at all?
Yeah.
Sheesh. You come
Is
with
this really that offensive?
you come with a pizza. You come
Huh?
with a pizza vending machine into Italy, and you think it's all gonna go well?
Who invented this? Is it Italian?
This one's called Mr. Go Pizza. Recently installed in Piazza Bologna. In 3 minutes, it cooks 4 different types of pizza, costing from $5.40 to $7.20. After the machine kneads the dough, it adds the toppings. Customers can watch their pie cook behind a small glass window. I mean, that sounds cool and fun, but you know they put it in a tourist location. They're trying to
Right,
get
yeah.
everybody who's not actually a
Sure.
local and doesn't know about that real pizza. But we got some quotes in here from local Italians. Are you ready?
They're like, burn it to the ground.
Here we go. The reviews range from acceptable if you're in a hurry to outright horror. It's okay, but it's not pizza, said Naples native Fabrizia Pugliese. And I don't know if you know about Naples, but
I heard that's like the best
Piece of
pizza joint
capital-
like, area.
pizza capital. No messing around with pizza over there.
Okay.
Let's see. It looks good, but is much smaller than in a restaurant, and there's less topping. All right. Gina, another pensioner who declined to give her name, called the whole concept terrible. Pizza really needs to be eaten hot immediately. This doesn't work for me. He's so
He's
upset.
very full on analysis over there. Yeah.
Like, he's not going to just take a bite of anything. This guy's serious.
He seems to know his pizzas.
The machine's location isn't doing it any favors either. Down the road, there's a Napolitano restaurant that uses a brick oven,
Right.
you know? And here's another one. I wouldn't even think of eating a pizza made by a machine. That's Giovanni Campagna. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look,
It's
you can't be bringing this thing to Rome.
yeah. Why did they put it there? Like they could put it anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're trying to capitalize on the tourists that are coming through looking. They're like, oh, look at that. We're in Italy. Let's have a pizza. And they don't know
Oh, a vending machine.
and they don't know the difference,
No.
you know? And they're in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the pizza's not actually that bad. It's just, if you ever talk to Italians about food, now I feel somewhat, you know, my mom's side of family is all quite Italian. And so when you had conversations about food with well, at least in my experience, it's a level of seriousness around food selection, ingredient selection. Where did it come from? Show me the badge. Who grew it? What style is it? You can't be eating that. That is wrong. Like, it's like rules to the degree, and the varieties and just the food awareness and origin and around cheese and wine and pizza would fall in there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's a tough crowd
Yes.
when you come with your robot machine. It doesn't change the fact that I find it to be fun, but
Yeah.
it definitely cannot and probably will not compete with the real deal for a long time,
Yeah.
if ever.
I think it's just ill placed.
Pizza Mr. Go. All right, this is far from Naples Pizza. Subway's got a new sandwich, and I didn't even hear about it.
Oh.
What?
Oh, I thought you were gonna bring this up to Vin yesterday, but I guess you read it today.
You feel like I'm a day late on it?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
He would have loved to be here.
He would have
Comment
he
on
would have
it.
definitely had a take on it. He's Mr. Subway. He would know something about it.
Yeah.
We'll ask him next time. We'll get the Subway related stories. We'll save them up for Vin's appearances.
For sure. Yeah.
Subway has a new melt style sandwich, which they're offering, I guess, 3 variations of it: tuna, ham, and steak. All right. The way this works, it's way more cheese than usual. That's the difference. And the whole thing is obviously toasted, as you can see here in the photo. That's the difference. And you can order these if you're looking for something a little bit more, I don't know, decadent. You're just having a cheesy feeling. However, it's a controversial sandwich. And the reason being is because the Subway operators are saying this is unsafe making it. It's got so much cheese, they say it's a hazard.
Why?
That's a lot of hot cheese.
Oh, they would burn themselves.
You can't be handling all that hot cheese oozing out the side.
Yeah, you need special gloves. Too much.
Subway's
cheese.
new sandwich melts are a hazard to those making them and to the equipment they're made in, says North American Association of Subway Franchisees. They came together and said, what are we doing with all these melts? The head office told us we got to be making these melts. They're advertising these melts. I'm trying to make these things. It's a mess.
Yeah. Too many charred hands.
Well, that's what they're saying. At least the official group is saying such a thing. It seems like the main complaint, however, is that it's causing damage to their toaster ovens as the cheese melts off and I gets trapped in there or whatever. If you've ever seen the way they toast it,
Yeah.
I guess it can get kind of messy with all the cheese going on. So I guess Subway disagrees. What do you think, Will? Can you eat all that cheese?
I would have to prepare myself.
It's a lot of cheese, it looks like.
Yeah.
It's more cheese than a pizza right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, anyone who's tried the melt, let me know down in the comments if it's worth the hazard. But who knows? This thing may be very limited time if the Association of Franchisees puts it to bed.
What was the ingredients? Did you say tuna and beef?
Not together. I'm saying you can get
tuna
those
or beef.
You can get those 3 subs meltified.
Oh, but
So-
they're not like combined.
No.
Right? Okay.
No, God,
yeah.
no.
Well,
So you can get the one you're looking at in this photo is steak,
right. Yeah.
but you can get a melt version of the ham sub or you can get a melt version of the tuna sub.
Okay.
Out of those 3, what are you going for, by the way?
I'll go for the steak.
Okay.
Steak and cheese is always a good
Sort of goes together, doesn't it? Okay, maybe that's why that's in the photo. All right, last one of the day. 4-year-old boy buys $2,618 worth of SpongeBob popsicles on Amazon.
Oh.
That amounts to, by the way, you're probably trying to do the math yourself right now. That's 51 cases. That's 918 popsicles. Now, he was on his mom's Amazon account. You know how easy it is to be ordering stuff over there, Will.
Yeah, the one click.
You're just clicking away.
Uh-huh.
And next thing you know, you got 51 cases.
Of melted?
Yeah, where are you going to put them? That's the trouble with a popsicle.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a freezer space for that. So you're in big...
Well, I don't think they're going to store it. It's already done, right? Like,
What you mean?
well, like, they're not, like, if it's delivered to the door, they're not automatically going to store it. They're going to be like, what the heck? Why did I order so much?
Well, I believe that the packaging is going to insulate, keep it somewhat cold
Right.
if you're ordering popsicles.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So that's step one. But as far as after it's been dropped off, what you're going to do with it? Because by the way, this is not, you don't sign for this one. This is just left at your door. You may come home from work and all of a sudden you see the cases sitting there. But I think they're going to have to pack them in such a way that's not going to melt right away, I would guess.
Sure, yeah, like groceries, right?
Exactly. They have a special box.
Yeah.
But that said, you got to figure out quick what you're going to try to do with over 900 popsicles. You got to start walking up and down the neighborhood. But more importantly, you can't make a deal with Amazon. They're not about to take popsicles back.
Especially if they're melted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're kind of doomed on that. If he had ordered something that wasn't perishable, you may have had an opportunity. So anyway, it turns out that the mother, who was a social work student at NYU, she doesn't have the cash for this either. And so she was trying to sort something out with Amazon, but was kind of panicking, went to GoFundMe and said, look, I know this is cute, but really, I don't have this $2,700. To which people that loved the story came through and actually donated. It's sitting at $12,983 at the moment. Almost 30. I mean, he's happy. He got the one. He
got one, yeah.
He got the one. Now, obviously, this is an accident. I mean, he didn't. You could say, hey, you got to be more careful on this one, but
right.
But it's an accident and even him, he probably didn't want 918. He probably didn't need 9. He probably just kept clicking. He's like,
sure,
He's probably like, I need these SpongeBob to show up. He keeps clicking. He's like, not here yet. When am I going to get it? No, I mean, he's 4 years old, Will. You know?
The more you click, it doesn't really help.
No, he thinks it speeds it up as you keep on clicking through. Anyway, point being, she's got help. It's going to be okay. And who knows, maybe some kids on the street got some free SpongeBob popsicles.
Why not?